So as I call your name, if you could just confirm the name on the screen is correct and give me your full name and tell me who you're representing here today. So I have Steve Dragon. Steve, if you could unmute for me. Yeah, I'm sorry, I can't hear you, Steve. If you unmute.
Sorry.
No problem. Is it Steve Dragon?
Yes.
Okay, great. And are you with VH Ridge?
Yes, that's right. Yes.
Okay, got it. All right. Welcome.
Thank you.
And we have someone on the call under David. Are you with us?
Yeah, this is David Lorine. I'm with Abercrombie and Associates.
Okay. Could you spell your last name for me?
Lorei.
Okay. Great.
Thank you.
Sure. And David, do you intend on providing any testimony here today?
I will answer some questions if needed.
Okay, got it. At that time, I'll ask you to activate your camera. It's not necessary now, but if you are testifying at that point, I'll need you to to turn that on. Just a heads up.
That's perfect.
Sure. Are we expecting anyone else to join us here today on the applicant owner side of this project?
No, this is it.
Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and get started. We may have the zoning plans examiner, Kate Meehan, that worked on this project, joining us as well. But let's go ahead and get started. So I need to read through our hearing script. This will just cover the procedure for the hearing, and then we'll get into it. So this is the September 4th, 2024 session of the zoning hearing examiner docket. The case before us today is case number ZH20240100. That's 4901 Calvert Street. The purpose of the hearing is to allow applicants and any other parties to testify and to offer and refute evidence and testimony. This hearing will follow the rules found in the zoning code and the supplemental rules of the zoning hearing examiner. Excuse me, all testimony and evidence that an applicant or any other party wishes to offer must be presented at this hearing. The hearing will proceed as follows. The applicant's attorney, or the applicant's agent will first present the applicant's case. For our purposes here today, Mr. Dragon, I'll let you tell me about the project, what exactly it is, the relief is that you're requesting, and why you think it's appropriate. And you or Mr. Lorei can talk about that or orient the presentation however you would like. If there were anyone here from the public, they would have an opportunity to speak after the applicant has presented its case. The zoning plans examiner from the planning department, Kate Meehan, has joined us, and she'll have an opportunity to speak after we've heard from the applicant. In the event that any party testifies or offers argument in opposition to this application, the applicant will have an opportunity to respond to that argument that was offered in opposition. And then finally, the applicant will have an opportunity to make any closing statements. After all presentations have been made, I will close the hearing. Decisions may be expected within 2 weeks. May limit or exclude any testimony that I deem irrelevant or outside the scope of the application being considered. I may interrupt any speaker to ask questions or to make comments. Last thing I need to do is to swear in all of our witnesses. So, and Mr. Lorei, you can hold off for now, but Mr. Dragon and Ms. Meehan, the zoning code requires that anyone providing testimony is sworn in prior to that testimony. So I'm going to do that now collectively. So if you could raise your right hand, I need you to answer out loud. Do you solemnly swear the testimony you shall give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, great. Thanks, everyone. Mr. Dragon, I assume you're going to take the lead here.
Yes, thank you. VH Ridge, who I'm representing, owns a parcel of land at 4901 Calvert Avenue in the Oakley neighborhood. It was purchased some time ago in relation to a larger development. We demolished the existing home that was there a number of years ago. It sat vacant for probably closing in on 20 years. We would like to now redevelop and construct 7 new attached single-family townhome units on the parcel. We would subdivide it into 2 lots down one of the building lines for that purpose. We've been through the coordinated report process with the city and have, I think, worked through all of the comments along those lines, with the exception of the variance that's before you, which is a setback variance request. The underlying zoning requires a 0 setback from all street frontages. And we are a corner lot. The reason for the request is really two reasons. One, it's we're asking for a setback from the Calvert Street frontage, not from the Alamo Street frontage, which is the other street. Again, two reasons, primarily because we feel it's a better siting and arrangement for the residential use that's proposed. It's more consistent with the rest of the surrounding residential uses in the immediate area, and finally because we believe it would create a safety issue with the building being placed on that immediate hard corner, with the building potentially blocking sight distance or sight sightline view to oncoming traffic on Alamo Avenue from the Calvert Street intersection. So for that reason, we're asking for the setback of approximately 6.7 feet from the Calvert right away.
Okay. And I see that this is a community commercial pedestrian zoning district. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. Based on my experience over there, would you agree that this actually tends to be more auto oriented in this general area, or do you think this is more designed for pedestrians?
So I suppose it's a subjective question. I'd say it is more designed at this point to serve auto oriented uses. The large format retail to the south, developed as part of the Cincinnati project, is more auto oriented. I think the idea was to see the area that this subject parcel is in developed in a more pedestrian oriented fashion. And so I believe that's the reason it's zoned that way, to try to sort of push that area towards a more pedestrian oriented use. But I'm not entirely familiar with the entire history of the zoning on the area.
Sure. I mean, to your point that, I mean, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you referenced just sort of sight triangles and line of sight for vehicles. Your proposal would make it a little bit safer than to build it all the way up to the corner as the code requires. You think that's an accurate statement?
Correct. That's correct. Yes. Yeah, we did provide an exhibit kind of showing the site triangle in question. And we think it would be a safer condition to have building pushed back a little bit from that right away.
Got it. Okay. Anything else you wanted to add right now?
No, I don't think so. I think, the staff report that came out, I think was pretty supportive, with one condition being on the subdivision being recorded prior to building permits, which we would agree to. So no, I don't have anything else to add.
Okay. And I did notice too that this did go through the subdivision request, went through the planning commission. Is that right?
We haven't formally submitted for planning commission approval, I don't believe. Kate, am I wrong about that? Sorry, we've been
No, that's fine.
this with a couple people.
So I believe it did go through City Planning Commission and was approved in April formally. So the lot split was or the subdivision was approved. So at this point, it just needs to be recorded before issuance of any building permits. So yes.
Got it.
Okay, thank you.
And Kate, does the planning commission review or do you know whether the planning commission actually reviewed this proposed development, the actual building and layout, as a part of that review for the subdivision?
I don't know if the City Planning Commission reviewed it. I believe, as Steve mentioned, this did go through CSR. So other city departments have reviewed this and weighed in.
Got it. Okay. All right. Thanks, Kate. If you want to just, if you have anything you wanted to add to the discussion here, if you want to just go with it.
I would just add that this is kind of as has been mentioned, almost seems like a more auto-oriented zone, but this is kind of a strange little area that is zoned CCP, and it is more of a kind of small I think, L-shaped residential area. There's a couple single family homes. There are multifamily apartment buildings. So this fits in certainly with that residential. But it's just a little bit of a strange zoning in this area because it really does have a more auto oriented feel. And this is just kind of like a small residential enclave in the middle of it.
Okay. Anything else, Kate?
No, I would just, as Steve mentioned, I would just also, you know, we would recommend for approval of this just with the condition that the subdivision is recorded before any building permits are issued.
Okay. Great. Thanks, Kate. Appreciate your testimony.
Mhm.
Steve, I don't think I have any more questions about this. Is there anything you'd like to say in closing or otherwise before we adjourn here today?
No, thank you.
Okay. I think we can leave it at that. I have had a chance to review the application materials and the staff report. Based on that, based on the testimony that I've heard here today, I agree that it would be impractical to strictly enforce the zoning code to this development, and that it is relatively consistent with surrounding development. So based on all of that, I am going to approve the application. I need to formalize that approval in a written decision. I mentioned at the beginning it takes about 2 weeks. I think that's a realistic expectation here, just based on the current queue of cases. I'll do everything I can to get it to you as soon as possible. But as soon as I finish it, I put it into a PDF and I email it to everybody who's in the hearing here today. So you'll have a copy of it really just moments after it's complete. And as soon as Kate has that, she can approve the zoning on her end, and hopefully you can move forward.
Great, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, sure. Any questions about that or anything else before we adjourn?
No, none here.
Okay. All right, great. Well, if you have anything in the meantime, feel free to reach out, or if you'd like just a status update on the decision, feel free to reach out to me directly. I'm happy to provide that to you.
Great. Well, thank you. I appreciate your time.
Sure.
Thank
Good luck
you,
with the
Kate.
project. Thanks,
Thank you.
everyone.